And you're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so it looks like boxing at the Olympic Games in Paris 2024 will be the last, at least for the foreseeable future. All the sports have been announced for Los Angeles 2028, and boxing is not on the list. And the reasons being is because the IOC, is that the International Olympic Committee, I'm presuming they haven't included boxing for the Olympic Games 2028 because they want to see major reforms from the IBA. I'm presuming that stands for International Boxing Association, maybe. Where the IBA have, rather than go through reforms and things like that, they have instead backed the Russian president, Umar Kremlev, and voted against a fresh election for reasons unknown to only them, or known only to them. I mean, what's wrong with having some fresh elections? What's wrong with that? Clearly they don't want to because, it fits some kind of narrative that they have. So the IOC, by the looks of it, are blaming this Russian president for either A, not controlling what's going on, or B, being involved in some of the match fixing and whatever else. That's the impression that I'm getting. Of course, at the last Olympic Games in Tokyo, the Russians, they weren't even allowed to be representing Russia. It was the Russian Olympic Committee, they were called. They weren't allowed the Russian flags, and they weren't allowed the Russian national anthem if they medalled. So they're trying to punish Russia for it. When, if you look at it, it's not the athletes that's involved in any of this, but yet they're the ones that's being punished. They're proud to be Russian and whatever else. And of course, I'm not talking about anything about the conflict in Ukraine. I'm talking about the fact that these athletes are going to the Olympic Games after working years upon years upon years to try and get to that particular platform, and are not allowed to represent their own country in a proper way. That's not right. It isn't right. But at the same time, what else can you do? And if they seem to believe that this Russian president, Umar Kremlev, is to blame for some of this, then surely there are things that can be done. I mean, surely there's some kind of legal things that they can do. And the IOC, if they're removing boxing because of this Kremlin fella, then surely they have the powers to just remove him. I mean, who runs the Olympic Games? Who runs it? Surely they can say, right, you are not welcome here, get out. Surely. Over recent Olympic Games, we've seen it time and time again, where it's not just poor officiating. Of course, that happens in all sports. It's human error, things can happen. But it's more than beyond just poor officiating, poor judging, poor refereeing. We see fighters get stopped by the referees, even though the fighter's not hurt, hasn't been dropped or anything like that. They get disqualified for not doing anything. They dominate a fight and then get the wrong result and things like that. That's not poor officiating or human error. That's fucking corruption. And are these referees and that, are they being held accountable? Maybe that's what the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, are trying to say. You're clearly not doing anything about it because this particular referee and this one over here and this one over here and this one over here, well, that's more than just incompetence. You're not doing anything about it. You're allowing them to referee future fights. You allow them into the next Olympic Games. There's big money to be made. Big money. Now, how do they know for sure that it's something to do with Russia? I have absolutely no idea. No idea whatsoever. But even if they removed Russia from the Olympics itself, that's still really not getting to the root of the problem, is it? Because as I said, it's not the athletes that's involved in any kind of match fixing. And it does seem to be boxing more than any other sport. Why is it boxing more than any other sport? I suppose because boxing, scoring, refereeing is subjective. That's why, whereas all the other sports, it's not subjective, is it? You do archery, well, if it lands in the bullseye, you know what points you're getting. When you're going on the trampoline and going around the bars and all that kind of stuff, you can physically see what's going on and you can see the imperfections and the perfections and whatever else. Same with the swimming and whatever. But boxing, very subjective, and that's pretty much seems to be what they're relying on, because it can't just be down to incompetence. It can't be. And by punishing the Russian athletes, that's not the way forward, is it? Because these people are still going to be involved. Those who are involved in the match fixings are still going to be involved. They're still going to be getting referees and whatever to do piss poor jobs so they can win those bouts because they've put money on them at the bookies or between them, however it is after they're making money, because that's ultimately what it is. It's all about making money. So what they're doing is they're punishing all boxers because they can't get to the root of the problem. So because you can't get to the root of the problem, you're going to remove all the Olympic boxers. But what have they done? They haven't done anything wrong. Surely the IOC can put in their own referees. Surely to God. Surely they can give each referee the message, you do one fight and it's controversial, that's it, you're done. And you ain't getting paid for any of the work. I.e., do not pay them until the end of the Olympic Games. Don't give them a cash advance or anything like that. Give them nothing. You do even one bout, that's done, and we're going to have you up in the courts to explain your actions. We're going to go through your bank accounts. We're going to go through everything with you. They're going to have to play hardball. But to punish all boxers is very, very unfair. It's very unfair. But I suppose, what other alternatives have they got? I don't want to see boxing removed. Years gone by, you see Olympic champions, silver medalists, bronze medalists and whatever else. That's what helps them get deals for when they turn pro. Our GB team, we had 11 fighters go over there. Many of them medalled. Well, they took that medal to the promoters, to Boxer, to Matchroom, to Queensbury, to Probellum and whatever else, and said, okay, what deal can you offer me? And they're going to get more money if they medalled. They're going to get a lot of money, rather than go, well, I don't go to the Olympic Games. Oh, well, you're not that valuable then, but you know what, we may sign you because you've done well in the European Championships or the Commonwealths or the Worlds, whatever. But anyway, this seems to be the ruling that boxing in Paris 2024 will be the last time that we see boxing in the Olympic Games unless they can get to the root of the problem. By the looks of it, they can't get to the root of the problem. All the investigations and things like that. We know about the investigations surrounding Conlon. We all remember what happened with Michael Conlon. Joe Joyce getting robbed against Tony Yoka and things like that. I mean, do you put that down to incompetence or do you put that down to corruption? Many other battles, many other fighters and whatever else as well. So everything he's looking at, but quite clearly they can't. They can't get to the root of the problem. So their answer is, well, let's remove it then. These people who are making money, they'll find other ways. They'll do it in the judo, they'll do it in whatever. So, or the wrestling, however. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.